Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the Just One More Level podcast. I am your co-host, Christian.
And I'm your co-host, John.
And today we have already played this week, trying to save it there, Yooka-Laylee.
Yooka-Laylee.
I'm going to get it one of these days, I promise.
Okay.
I have got it once or twice, but I'm going to get consistent with it sooner or later. I have to.
Right.
I just have to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, rant over. Yooka-Laylee. So,
Yooka-Laylee.
Yooka-Laylee is a game for anybody who doesn't know out there. It is a game made, I don't remember, a few years ago.
Yep.
But the whole point of it was made to be like BanjoKazooie. It's an open, 3D platformer collectathon in the vein of BanjoKazooie from the N64 back in its heyday. And it's very cute with your little characters that you got and everything like that. Story-wise, it's whatever. I don't think very many people play it for the story,
right.
But this does have a bit of one.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to what is it? The pages of books were stolen, and you're trying to recover them from Capital B.
Yeah,
basically, who of course is this big B evil doctor thing, and his sidekick, Dr. Quack, the duck, and he's a quack doctor. I fucking love it. John, I know from just talking with you a little bit, you got some gripes with this one here. You had some trouble, but just everything that I've looked at, it's so cute. It is just the greatest, and I don't know how you can possibly have gripes.
I have gripes.
so many gripes, let me tell you.
This game is just the worst thing since 2020. No. It's not, and I think that's the problem, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It's not bad enough to be good.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. So we did Porky Pig, and Porky Pig was just kind of for the fun, right?
Yeah, for the lols,
Right. So, Porky Pig wasn't anything to write home about, but it had some surprisingly redeemable factors that we weren't really anticipating. So I played this game. I played Yooka-Laylee, and I was kind of waiting for it to get, I was waiting for it to reel me in real good, and I don't feel like it ever really did. I didn't have the privilege of playing BanjoKazooie. I've never played a BanjoKazooie game, but I played games.
Didn't grow up with the style of game.
Right,
or at least the games it was based off of.
That game specifically, yeah. But I did grow up with the basic style of game, because Yooka-Laylee kind of take notes from Super Mario 64 and from other family-friendly oriented collectathons on the PlayStation 1, which I've played a ton of. I had the Toy Story 2 game on the PS1. I had A Bug's Life, and just some other Disney games and different games like that, where your main objective was to run around a very colorful atmosphere and collect pieces of something. You were collecting stars in Super Mario 64. You were collecting random things in the Disney collectathon games. It was usually something like you had to collect 5 letters to spell a word. You had to collect secrets, cutscenes that formed a movie. You had to collect little tidbits around a level, and if you got 100 of them, you got another thing, stuff like that. So I'm not totally alien to the concept, but this scene in particular that we're watching on here, we're watching the opening cutscene with the villain.
Intro.
So I felt like it was very annoying for a couple reasons. Number one, when you start the game, you're able to change a setting where you can click through the text. So you can hit a button and the text drops, and you're able to read it at your own speed, and then you're able to move on to the next text box.
Right.
And this opening cutscene, I feel like it's very slow, and you're not able to skip any of it. You can skip the cutscene, but I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see the story, but I didn't want to see it at that pace. I don't
remember. So it's been a little while for me since I've gone through the settings and things like that.
Yeah.
But I thought you could just click it and have it complete the text without actually watching it play out, and then read it at your own pace.
Yes, in game.
But not in the cutscene.
After this moment, but not in the cutscene. Yeah. So later on in game, when you're talking to the snake guy, or you're talking to the fridge lady, or some of the other characters, you can change the settings so that you can click it and it drops all the text. and you can read it at your own pace,
Okay.
and then you can skip past it, and that helps a lot. But in this opening cutscene, you can't. And another small gripe, and I know this is it's kind of strange, and I guess up to personal preference, but do you remember Super Mario Sunshine?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Super Mario Sunshine, they used a similar model for the character voice. They had just some garbled, goofy noises for the character voices.
This specifically comes from BanjoKazooie, though.
Okay.
This was almost exactly how they did it in BanjoKazooie, the voices. And that's why they actually, in the settings, give you a couple different options, because some people do find that very annoying.
I did. Yeah, because in, like, Delfino Plaza, for instance, you can walk around and you can talk to all the characters. And the way they introduce the text is, there's just a little bit of a noise when they start talking, and then the rest of it is just text that comes out. And I thought that was just perfect. But in this, it's constant noise.
Yeah. And like I said, that's why they give you different options. I personally don't mind it, probably because I grew up with BanjoKazooie and Banjo-Tooie and all that. But I know that is a thing some people really don't like.
It's just it's just constant.
Yeah. I'll give you that one. I guess.
Very loud gibberish. That I'm being subjected to that I can't even skip past.
That's what options are made for. What do you mean?
I can skip past the cutscene, but like right there, it comes up with a little button that says skip. But that skips the interaction.
Yeah,
that
the whole cutscene. Yeah,
that doesn't. And I didn't.
No, I do kind of see. I can't agree. That would be nice if there was an option to do like in game. Yeah. No, I do agree with you there. And it didn't really bother me, but I can see how it would be annoying, especially if you are the type of person who finds the quote unquote voice acting annoying as well.
Right.
And that's understandable. I can give you that one.
In the options menu.
Yeah.
Like you can, like most options menus, like even in like Minecraft or something, there's like a little click when you move past the buttons, and that's satisfying to hear the little click or something. But the options menu is like a full uninterrupted second of that gibberish noise every time you click the buttons.
See, it really doesn't bother me. Like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes here, but it's just, it doesn't bother me at all. Literally at all. You know what I thought the first time I booted up this game?
Yeah.
You want to know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
God damn, is this game beautiful? That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
I was like,
it looks,
my God.
It looks great. I don't have a problem with
one of the best looking games I've ever seen, honestly. The art style is so perfect and everything is so bright and smooth, and the movement in this game is another thing I could go on and on about. I think they did so well, especially as you get farther into the game and you gain the ability to like roll up in a ball and scoot around like Sonic and jump. The only game that's ever done movement better, in my opinion, is the newest Super Mario game. That I always forget the name of because
Super
I'm
Mario
a terrible human being. Odyssey. Yeah. The only game I think that did movement better was Odyssey. This game feels so good to play.
It does.
And again, being somebody who grew up with BanjoKazooie and whatnot, I freaking loved it.
Right.
Loved it. I do have some gripes myself, but they're far and few between and almost completely to do with level design. Which is something that I think that if they decide to continue making games in this vein, they'll get better at. Everything else, I honestly, I don't have any other complaints. I just don't.
And I'll say something else, more broader scale. What you're talking about, we can get right into level design, because I think we're both in agreement that like sound design, other than the voice acting, and graphically and movement wise, the game is essentially flawless. It operates just the way you need it to. Controls are pretty sharp and precise.
Very small like camera issues aside. And the only other issue I had, I guess you can boil it down to user error, because the only other issue I found with control was when you are rolling up into a ball, when you figure out how to do that, there's sometimes issues with like precision in going up a cliff or something. Like I'll find like sometimes I don't know when to hit the button to roll up in the ball. Like because you are taught in some places, and it's very small, to conserve your energy when you're rolling in a ball, because you lose energy and you have to regain your energy with the butterflies. But so I'm trying to conserve my energy by hitting it like right on the edge, but you have to roll up in a ball right before you go up the cliff. I think that's the sort of thing that you get used to too.
If you hit the cliff too early, you start sliding back down it, and you slide for a little while, and you're like, oh, come on, just let me roll up in a ball.
And there are some other minor, like I was being
Yeah.
a little facetious when I said I have no issues with the game at all. There are other little things, but most of them you don't find in the beginning of the game. And this series that we do here is mostly focused around the first hour or so.
Yeah.
There are some other small things with there are different transformations that you can get later in the game, and the time spent loading and unloading like transformations and being stuck in those cutscenes, and some of the movement on them isn't so great and things like that.
Right.
But I would say the majority of the game I really did enjoy. Like I wasn't joking about that. I do really, really enjoy it. But level design that we started to touch on before we went off the rails there. I would say most of it is done pretty well, but there are times when it doesn't do a very good job of giving you direction.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, so in one of the last episodes we did, I believe I talked about how I find myself liking more linearity or more restriction.
Yeah.
Excuse me, in level design.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older. And it's not so much that with this game, because I think you kind of have to have open areas for a collectathon to work properly.
Sure.
But sometimes it feels too loose,
Yeah.
right? Like I can't really think of the exact right word, because open's not necessarily the issue. It's just sometimes hard to find a sense of direction.
I got
on where should I be going?
This is the rest of my qualm.
Right.
I only went to one stage. I went to the opening stage for the game. And the way that you get to the stages, I can't speak for BanjoKazooie, but it is it's set up very similar to Super Mario 64. You have a hub world like a castle, and you unlock different things to jump into and transport yourself to the world.
Right.
So you jump into these books that you unlock, and you have to get a certain number of pages to unlock the next book, which is again similar to Super Mario World or Super Mario 64
with the stars. And
with the stars,
paintings,
you have to get a certain number of stars to unlock the next painting or whatever. So you jump into the page, but one thing that I think Super Mario World had that this game doesn't necessarily have is chapters. So when you get dropped into this world, you just kind of have to run around and find where your next objective is. But the way that Super Mario 64 does it is that when you load in as a chapter. And when you complete the star for that chapter, you get taken back out, and you do have to go back in, which can be moderately annoying, I could see, for some people.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra load, and I'm one of those people.
It's
I'm
a lot of
the
extra
camp
loading.
that I prefer the way this game does it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But I understand your point of view too.
I think it adds some linear development.
You have more of a goal going into the level.
You have more of a goal going into the level. You're in the same space. You're in the same open world where you get to run around, and you don't always have to do the stars in order. You do so in more of the recent games, I believe, and even to an extent in Super Mario 64, because when you go into the first world, you have the big bomb boss that you have to beat, and when you go in the second time, you have the Koopa that you have to race. He wasn't there the first time, so you do have to go back in for him to load up.
There's a certain order that you have to do, like
for a lot of things. To a degree, yeah. But you can go into any world, and you can go get the secret star if you want to, or you can do the red coin challenge. There's a red coin challenge in each world, where you have to collect 8 of them to get a star. So there is some open world. You can feel free to explore, but I feel like it's a little more restricted, and it gives you more of a direction to go. So going into this game for the first time, I had no idea where to go. I didn't know
talk about it. So for anybody who doesn't know out there, John and I dabble in making video games, so we actually spend a lot of time thinking about level design and things like that.
Yeah.
And what just popped into my head that I think would have fixed all of your issues, or at least the majority of your issues with it?
Yeah.
An objective list.
Yeah.
Just a list of these are the stars, minus the secret ones, of course. There should still be secret stars if this was Mario, but pages or whatever you want to call it. There should still be secret ones, of course, but if they just had, whenever you load in, you hit this pause button, and then it just has a list. These are the 10 pages that you can get in this level, and here's a little hint on what to do, or where to go, or whatever. Yeah, I think, and I agree that, like, that I think would have made the game better.
Yeah, doesn't have to be like Mario where you keep going in and out. Yeah, but if it was just like a list,
but an objective-based list or something like that, I do. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would have definitely made the game better.
I feel like they could have utilized the is it the Laylee character or the Yooka character? That's the little sidekick.
I'm fairly certain it's Laylee is the sidekick, and
Laylee.
And Yooka is the main character.
I remember in like
the other way around, right?
In Jak and Daxter, which we've all agreed is phenomenal.
Yes, all of us being the two of us.
The two of us. Yeah. In Jak and Daxter, Daxter has little quip that actually help.
Sort of guide you.
To sort of guide you, yeah. Like Daxter every once in a while will walk in. He'll shout out, "Hey Jack, don't go over there. That guy looks like he's bad news," or like, or he'll say something sarcastic like, "Don't you think we should focus on jumping on these things over here?" You know what I mean? And it's just like it's something that is in character. That is something that Daxter would say in the moment to Jack, but it's also guiding the player to what your objective might be. So,
and that's kind of like it would have been hard for them to add that to this game since they were going for that BanjoKazooie style of quote unquote voice acting and things like that.
Right.
But there is an argument to be made that that's one of the things they should have just left out. I don't personally mind it, but again, I know a lot of people hate that kind of voice acting that they did. And because of that, it's pretty much impossible for them to add the little banter between the two main characters just like randomly as you're playing throughout the level without pausing and having text boxes pop up and things like that. So I mean, maybe they followed a formula to a fault.
Could be.
For returning fans like myself, I love the fact that they did, but I mean, BanjoKazooie, I don't remember the exact year it came out, but roughly 20 years ago at this point.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the gaming landscape has changed, and maybe they didn't keep up enough with it. And I do think it speaks volumes that their next game isn't a 3D collectathon.
Really?
The game they made after this, also in the Yooka-Laylee universe, but it's more of, if I'm not mistaken, it's more of like a Donkey Kong Country style game, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they were trying specifically to scratch an itch for returning players more than anything, and I feel like they did that. And that's why now they're like, okay, let's now do this other series that a lot of people really miss from their childhood, right? So I think that was kind of their goal with it. So maybe not for everybody. And if they do return to it, I would like to see them add the little things like an objective list. Maybe the ability to turn off the voice acting completely or to have proper voice acting. Honestly, I think having proper voice acting would be fine even. Especially the rest of the game looks so cartoony and bright and colorful and wacky. It would be great if they could get some really good cartoon voice actors. That would be great. Especially, like you said, some banter between the two characters, like in Jak and Daxter. But having it be like just crazy out there goofy things between Yooka-Laylee and things like that, I think it would fit great, and it's the sort of thing I would love to see.
Yeah, because Yooka-Laylee do have a banter on occasions, like they banter to each other during like the tutorial thing, like they almost fourth wall break. They comment, they're self-aware that this is a tutorial stage, you know, which I thought was cool. You know what I mean? Which is nice because this game is a what did you call it? Like an homage. You know, you're very aware that this game is in the style of BanjoKazooie and an attempt to pay homage to Banjo. So it's nice that they were like self-aware, and there's a part where you come across a retro dinosaur named Rextro. And he has an arcade. He has an arcade cabinet in every level, which I thought was really cool. When I saw an arcade cabinet just sticking up out of the ground, I was like, "What?"
While we're talking about little Easter eggs like that, though, sorry to cut you off, but there's another one. I don't know if you ever found him because I can't remember what level he first appears in.
Okay.
But there's Kartos.
Okay.
Like Kratos from God of War, but Kartos. And he's this really gruff, like minecart. And it's just, you just ride around in him is all you do. And it's I don't know if you remember the karting levels from Donkey Kong Country, but it's sort of like that, but in 3D, essentially.
Okay.
And they're really fun, but just the dialogue they give him and the name, and it's just a stupid pun and I love everything about it. I'm also the type of person that really enjoys stupid puns and things like that, though.
Sure.
That's why I really got a kick out of Dr. Quack the duck. It's just the sidekick. I love it. I think it's one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
And then the vending machine, I love her too because her name's what is it, Vendy or something like that? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
Vendy the vending machine, and I just well, I mean, whatever. Whatever. Fridge vending machine.
Yeah.
She vends things. It's a vending machine.
But so Rextro, I thought it was really cool, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really cool. We're gonna play like a retro style game. But you don't.
You don't. Yeah, like, it's an arcade game, but
like,
not a retro arcade game.
But Rextro looks retro. He looks like a PS1 game, and I was even more shocked after that. You get to go to the vending machine, and you get to buy power-ups, kind of.
Yeah.
You get to swap power
sort of. Right,
I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't play enough of the game to see how that ends up panning out and like how that ends up being useful, but you get to swap power-ups, and one of the power-ups is just like an Easter egg. You get to change the entire game to look like a PS1 game.
Retro filter.
Yeah, it's like a shader or something.
Yes.
I don't know how they did that. Did they design the entire game to look like a PS1 game?
No, it
after
was
the fact,
almost certainly it was actually a shader.
Like a shader, yeah.
I'm 99% sure you were correct in that, calling it that. Yeah.
But it was that was amazing. And then even more so, I was like, then why isn't the Rextro game like this? Because he was like, we're gonna play Rextro Racing, we're gonna play kart, and I was like, oh, cool, it's gonna be like a Mario Kart thing. Because they're going on this retro thing and they're paying homage to these retro games. They're gonna do like a 3D PS1 and 64 style Mario Kart game.
Right.
But they did not. They did a like an old top-down arcade cabinet racer game. And I was the control is confusing to get the hang of.
It's
when you get the hang of it, it's okay.
I think it's called Micro Machines.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, is
but
what it's actually based off of.
It's like the opposite of tank control. You have to constantly change direction to get the cart to move. If your cart is moving left,
it doesn't recenter itself.
Right. If your cart is moving left, you have to move the controller left. If it's moving down, you have to push down.
A very retro. Type of control style for things like that.
Yeah.
And it is a weird disconnect. It looks very modern, but plays very old.
Right.
I think they could have just made it look retro as well and had it be a little bit better.
because it's a retro arcade. And like the menu on the arcade is like totally done in pixel art.
Yeah.
You know, so you're thinking that it's gonna be something old, and it's just more of the
It's just
same.
not.
And when you put on the PS1 shader and you go back to the arcade machine, same thing.
Right.
it transitions back to modern. It doesn't keep the shader. And I was like, what? Oh, come on. I feel like that was such a tease, and they could have done something really cool with like a retro thing, but it's still like a fun mini game. Did you see the
Shovel Knight reference though?
No.
Oh my God, Shovel Knight's in here too.
I've never played Shovel Knight. I
haven't played it, but I've watched 90% of it be played, and Shovel Knight's in here as well. That's another little reference that they did. And while we're on that topic, though, this game did actually catch some flack at one point.
Okay.
And if I remember why, it's because of a certain YouTuber.
Okay.
Yeah, JonTron.
Oh, yeah, he was supposed to voice act in the game.
I watched that whole thing that blew up for a while, and he actually voice acted a little bit in this game.
I saw a because like after I played the game and after I played the game again because we needed footage for it.
Right. Yeah, my bad.
So I played
busy week.
I restarted the game too. The footage you're seeing is not the original playthrough I did, but the second playthrough from the beginning. So I restarted the game to play through it from the beginning because that's what we do. And
it's our thing.
After that, I was looking around at like reviews, and I was like, I wonder if other people felt the same way, because Christian seems to love this game. So I was like, everybody else love this game? Is it just me? Yeah.
It's perfect.
I watched I watched a Dunk view. I watched Donkey play the game and talk about it, and he shares a similar opinion with me. He feels like the game's like really, really cool at times and really fun, but the balance is kind of off. Like the level design kind of lacks and everything kind of lacks. And he talked about the JonTron.
Yeah. So not to get too off track, I love all the little Easter eggs and things, and I remembered that Shovel Knight is here, and I'm pretty sure he's in this first level here.
Really? Okay.
And for some reason, I don't know if he voiced Shovel Knight or what, but for some reason, thinking of Shovel Knight reminded me of JonTron being in this, so I just thought I'd bring that up. But I do agree, for people who aren't looking for the nostalgic kick, the nostalgic drug, like, for people who aren't looking for that didn't grow up with it, yes, the game could have been so much better. But for me, who just misses my, being 10 years old, 12 years old, whatever age I was at that time, playing BanjoKazooie with my brothers, this was great. And I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I still think it's a good game for most people. But yeah, it could have been better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like any kid looking for a new game to play, popping this in, I don't think they would have anything wrong with it. I think they would have tons of fun. But because just running around the world is fun, because the way the character controls and things to look at, things to do, and things like that. But I think that I think that they could have played up the retro thing even more if they wanted to. I know they don't have to, but it's almost a subgenre of games these days to make a game that is an homage to an earlier style of game that used to be popular. Because tons of games are made and put out on Steam and on other indie websites that are like made with pixel art or made in the style of this game, and it's clearly an homage, sometimes a ripoff of other games. It's almost like a counterculture at this point to make games that are in the style of other games. So I'm surprised that, given this was a Kickstarter campaign or something similar, it was crowdfunded, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, yeah.
Given that it was like that, I'm surprised they didn't play up that retro theme a little bit more, rather than going for something brand new. And even that is a genre in and of itself, making something that was retro or in a retro style brand new in HD, like the Spyro Reignited trilogy and the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy.
I mean, and that's basically what they did without getting the license from Microsoft.
Okay.
I mean, they copied so much. The name, BanjoKazooie, Yooka-Laylee. Like, the having the two characters, one rides the other. Your side character gives you abilities like flying and jumping higher and getting up cliffs. All the little wacky side characters, the little mini games like races and things like that. The collectathon nature of it itself. The different, like, a number of world, like, they copied almost everything from BanjoKazooie. The only way they could have made it more like BanjoKazooie was to get the license from Microsoft, like, honestly. And
this race just,
it is hard.
There
are different objectives in the game, and one of the objectives that you have is races in different levels, and they are quite hard. I agree. It took me many tries to get them whenever I first played through the game. But yeah, so I mean, we're about to that half-hour mark. I don't really. I think everybody knows how I feel about it at this point. I love it. I think it's the bee's knees.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It could be better, yes.
Right.
But it's so good. So obviously, I'm gonna play it for just one more level. I haven't yet, surprisingly, but I do plan on beating this game at some.
Okay.
For sure.
Gotcha.
But John, you're the one I'm interested in, because obviously, as somebody that didn't grow up with BanjoKazooie, who has more of an issue with the game, doesn't hate it necessarily, but got your gripes. What do you think?
Right. I think that I don't think I would. I don't think I would play just one more level.
Wow. Okay.
And it's not. I don't really, and that's the thing. Like what I was trying to say before, with I don't hate. It's not like so broken that it's frustrating to play, or
it's not
so unfair or anything like that. I just think that ultimately I was kind of bored.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm not gonna lie.
I completely disagree, but it's fair. You're allowed your wrong opinions.
Yeah, I just felt like it was kind of medium for me. It was kind of lackluster. It wasn't like so bad it's good, or so bad that it's a rage game, or it's frustrating, but it also, I think, wasn't like just good enough to really hook.
Right. And honestly, you're like the worst case scenario for the game, in my opinion. Okay. Because I think the two groups who would enjoy this most are your younger gamers,
Yeah.
Right. Your preteens and young children.
Right.
And the older folks that played Banjo-Kazooie growing up.
Right.
Those are really like the two groups of people this game is aiming towards, and you're neither of those. So you are the worst case scenario. I am a little bit surprised that that you were bored with it, but I can understand.
I do
your
love
point of view.
I love cute games. I love cute games, and I love old games. I love old PS1 games, and I like collectathons. I just felt like this game kind of hit like just like a lukewarm for me.
Right. I am a collector of bad games. So that's what we're gonna have to start doing now, is just playing actually bad games, so you can learn to enjoy what I have given you here. There are games that will make you physically ill. Playing, Jonathan.
Okay.
Respect Yooka-Laylee. But no, jokes aside, I'm fine. Yeah, I understand your point of view. There's so much more to the game though than the first little bit. There are transformations that you can get. There are so many different power-ups. It's, in my opinion, it is an amazing game. But it's not for everybody.
Maybe that's a factor. Maybe I need to play just one more level to
but let's be honest.
Grow on me. Yeah, a little bit.
It's easy to be easy on games, right?
Yeah.
To be nice to games. That's easy. But in reality, for a game like this, it's not a huge RPG that takes, 150 hours to play or whatever.
Right.
The first hour should be enough.
Right, yeah.
To get you to enjoy the game, right? Like, sure, I understand there are some games where it could take a few hours to really get into it, and that's okay, I guess, because of the nature of it. This is not one of those games. If you didn't like the first hour or so, it's probably not worth it for you. I mean, yes, I think it gets better later on, but
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
I feel it. Yep. All right.
That's pretty much it, right?
That's our consensus.
That's our consensus. If you're young or liked Banjo-Kazooie, fucking do it. Otherwise, don't. Also, I love how it's always the children-friendly games that I let out the curses on.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just in that mood right now. I'm just in that mood. I don't know. I may or may not cut them out in post. We'll see what happens. I don't even drink. I haven't had a drink in 20 years. That's a lie. Pretty close. Anyways.
Pretty close.
I mean, it's about double the real number there, but whatever.
I feel it. Okay.
Anyways, what were we saying? Oh yeah, so that's it for this one.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. It's good stuff
it,
for the right type of person.
Absolutely.
My suggestion would be, I guess, since the consensus we came to is find it in a bargain bin or find a demo.
As a time,
Yeah, so I guess that would be the recommendation.
I would say
borrow it from a friend.
I would say try it out. I borrowed it from a friend. Because I share it with you, but
we do.
No, I would say try it out, and if you feel passionate about that kind of thing, and that is your vein, you like Banjo-Kazooie, you like playing like homage games or games in the style of retro game, I would say support the creator. Always support the creator and give them money. It's an indie studio with a lot of professional power behind it. So support the creator, give them money. Try to play the game. It was a crowdfunded effort, and for a crowdfunded effort, I will say this is a professional level game. I will say that. For a crowdfunded effort, it came out really well.
Yeah, and I mean, when you consider the number of games that get crowdfunded and then just don't end up being anything or end up being such junk, sure. Yeah. But there are actually a lot of great crowdfunded games. If I'm not mistaken, the one that I was speaking of earlier, Shovel Knight, I'm pretty sure was another crowdfunded game. Yeah. And there's one that I can see in my head, but I can't remember the name of. And that's so helpful to everybody at home, I know. But there's another one that I'm thinking of that's another retro style game. But anyways, there are some really great ones, but there is so much trash that comes out of.
Yeah, and this too was made with the Unity engine, was it?
I'm fairly certain it was. Yeah. Yeah. Fairly certain.
Which is which
our
also
some
Right. Well, which also gets some attention because that is the engine of indie developers, because there is a free version of it.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to say pioneered the free engine thing, but they were the first big engine to be like, hey, guess what, everybody? You can use this completely free with almost all
Kartos, Kartos karting is what this is called.
Yeah, this specific one. Yeah, he's an actual He's an actual character that you can find in the game as well, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's Unity ends up getting a bad name because on their free version, the Unity logo appears when you load the game, and so many developers have made some crap games with the Unity engine that people play on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So it's
it really
kinda
is just a bad rap for Unity, though, because
it's not a bad engine.
Yeah, not at all. It's a great engine. I mean, there's been so many good games. Yooka-Laylee.
It doesn't get the love that the Unreal Engine 4 does.
No.
But
City Skylines was made with it.
But
RimWorld, I could just go.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways,
but,
sorry, we're getting sidetracked.
But Unreal 4, it's just, if you want to make a game that looks like it was made in Unreal 4, then you have to adhere to a certain kind of style.
Yeah.
That's a style of
There's
game.
a level of expectation with Unreal 4. Yeah, very much so.
But you can make a lot of things with you. So
yeah, all kinds of things. I mean, and to be fair to Unreal 2, it's not to hate on Unreal. You can make all different kinds of things on Unreal 2. It's just Unreal's niche is kind of high fidelity, hyper-realism. Yeah, that's kind of their niche, whereas Unity's niche is you can do whatever you want, and we're free. Now, that being said, though, you're going to have to put in a little bit more work if you want something like Unreal. You can't just open it up and you slap a couple filters and pre-made assets and have something as beautiful as Unreal. You can still make something that pretty, but you got to put the work in.
But
and that's kind of
you cut out the need for bugs, or not the need for bugs, but the I feel like you would get a lot less bugs in the long run, because those slapped together games on Unreal 4 can be just as bad as some of the games that Unity gets crap for, because they don't play test them, because they're like, oh, it's Unreal 4, it looks beautiful.
Just throw everything together,
it looks.
But anyways,
great,
okay.
Tangent
for tangent's sake. We got it out there. Jonathan,
I would not.
What are we doing next week?
Next week we're playing Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. Yeah, that's the thing. Requested by the Doors Lady.
Yeah.
Jonathan's second half here. And
Love
I think
Earthworm
we
Jim.
both. Yeah. I like your wife more than I like the game. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, Doors Lady, if you're watching or end up listening this later. But
it's fine. It's fine. It's good.
Oof.
I understand.
Big oof.
I mean, I also like my wife more than I like the game, but
I mean, that's good.
I
would
probably
hope.
like the game more.
I would hope.
I probably like that game more than you. So, but you'll have to find out next time. As for this time,
yes, we will.
Thank you so much for watching and taking the time to watch our podcast or listen to our podcast.
Thank you.
You didn't have to, but you did, and we appreciate it. Thank you so
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. So until next time, we'll see you next time, guys.
Yep. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.